This is an excellent time. Good evening to all that are joining. It's an excellent time to like, share, comment, and to tag persons in the comments that may be interested in our discussion this evening. I'm going to get the topic up over here on Facebook. The topic is already up on Instagram. And this evening, I'm going to be talking about, is the glucose revolution real or fake? Okay, so this is the glucose revolution. Some may call it a diet, but the glucose revolution, we're going to get down into it in just a moment. So I'm just going to give another couple of seconds for persons that want to join in. And then we are going to get going. All right. Anybody else that's coming is going to have to catch us in progress or watch the replay. Although, hey, live is best. You get your questions answered on the spot, right? All right. So, good evening, everyone. For those of you that may not be familiar with me, I am Dr. Felicia, physiotherapist and certified health coach. I am the proprietor of Adley Physiotherapy over on Mackey Street in the Mackey Street Plaza. Over the years, I have helped hundreds of patients reach their physiotherapy goals, and as a health coach, I do hope to help thousands more women. I want to greatly expand my reach so that I can help so many more people. Good evening to you, Kara, so that I can help so many more people, women in particular, that want to reach health and wellness goals. Okay, so for genuine women that are willing, ready, and open to change so that they can improve their eating habits and their movement regimens so that they can live a fabulous future. So we're looking to improve our health, the quality of our lives, okay, feel better, have more energy, be able to move around well into our 50s, 60s, 70s, our 80s, and beyond, okay? We want to be here a good long time, and we don't want to be all cramped up, can't move, weak, no energy, feeling like we're half dying, right? Nobody wants that, okay? And we want to look just as good as we feel. All right. So, any information that is discussed in this broadcast is not to be taken as medical advice. I do not know the specifics of anybody's case. So, I am only giving general information here this evening that you could perhaps incorporate. However, please do check with your primary care physician first, okay? Or make sure that you are under the care of a healthcare provider and that you loop them in on any changes that you plan to make. Okay, so tonight's topic is the glucose revolution diet real or fake? Okay, we talked about the diabetes diet about 2 weeks ago. And for anybody that missed that discussion, please do feel free to go back on either Facebook, YouTube, or even Instagram. You will find the replay up on those channels. However, that's a little bit different from what we're talking about this evening. The diabetes diet is more of a diet ideal, for either persons that are diabetic or persons that are not diabetic, right? But it would be appropriate for persons that are diabetic. This glucose revolution is a little bit different. I think it's more so for people that don't have diabetes yet. Okay, so this is specific to that. I would not say that this is appropriate for someone that has diabetes. Um, and you will see why once we get a little bit further into it. Okay, so someone's making a comment here that the planner is very thorough. Thank you. And they're referring to the planner that goes along with the challenge that we started. And we'll get into that hopefully a little bit before we end the broadcast. We'll talk a little bit more about the summer snapback challenge that just started Monday past. We're pretty much very excited. We're all very excited and raring to go. And it's been a great first week. Okay, what's today? Monday. This is what, day four of the 21-day challenge. Okay, thank you all so much for your compliments on the planner. I had fun making it and putting it together for you, and I hope that it's got what you need in there. But it was a pleasure for me while I was kind of designing it and putting things in there, and I'm so excited to bring it forward to you all, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Thank you so much. Good evening to you, Betty. All right, so we are talking about tonight the glucose revolution, right? So it's based on this book called The Glucose Revolution: The Life-Changing Power of Balancing Your Body Sugar. And the author of this book is Jesse Inchausp. Okay, I don't know if I'm entirely pronouncing that correctly, but Jesse Inchausp. Okay, and Jesse, hereafter known as Jesse. Okay, Jessie is a scientist, she is a researcher, and she is also a biochemist. Okay, so Jessie has some chops on her. Okay, she isn't like someone just talking off the top of her head. So, glucose is a molecule that enters our blood through starchy or sweet foods that we eat. Okay, that's in line with what we discussed about 2 weeks ago. So, Jessie wrote this book now, this Glucose Revolution book, and it's kind of like a craze that's kind of like taken over a little bit. You know how these new things come on the scene, these new ideas or theories. Although there was some talk of a glucose diet several years ago, like in the 70s, several decades ago, really. So the idea is not entirely new, but I would say the approach is. So, recently, over the last about 5 years, scientists have discovered that glucose doesn't only affect people that have diabetes, it affects those of us that don't have it either. Okay, those of us that don't have it and we want to keep it that way. Okay, but we're still affected. And what are some of the ways in which it's affecting us? Okay, so too much glucose in the system, the body's system, can be the culprit in things like putting on weight, feeling tired all the time, feeling hungry all the time, developing wrinkles. No good. We don't want the wrinkles, right? Because we're trying to look and feel fabulous for a lifetime. So wrinkles are a no-no. Okay. Breakouts, also a no-no. We're not here for the scarring either. Okay, and poor hormone balance. Okay, so some of the longer term effects, because these are even just short term effects, right? And long term effects can include things like actually developing type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, cancer, of course, dementia, and heart disease. So, all things that, we would, you know, rather we would rather not have some of these long-term effects, right? Some of these things, sometimes you can't do anything about it, you just do the best that you can. Okay, that's all it is. You have some people that say, well, people who don't eat red meat, I say just pass it along to me and I'll eat it. And it's kind of like they just feel like, well, okay, I'm going to die anyhow. But yes, it's true, we do all have an expiration date, but we'd like to have some measure of health and good feelings for as long as we are here. We don't want to be here in pain and suffering if we could actually do something to avoid it. So, the author, hereafter known as Jassy, she states that over 90% of people suffer from having too much glucose in our system. 90%. She's saying that only about 10% of people in the US actually like have a good metabolism. Like everybody else kind of like basically is in a mess and in poor health and like suffering. Like only like 10% they really feel good and like at their optimum. That's a bit sad. So, some of the questions that the author recommends asking yourself to see if perhaps your glucose is dysregulated. Here's just a few of the questions. Were a lot more than this, but I just picked out a couple to share with you. So, has your doctor told you that you need to lose weight? Have you tried losing weight but you're having a hard time? Do you have extreme hunger pangs during the day? Do you crave sweet things? Do you feel sleepy mid morning, mid afternoon? Or are you tired all the time? Do you need caffeine to keep you going throughout the day? Do you experience brain fog? Do you have trouble sleeping? Or do you wake up with heart palpitations? Okay, that's just a couple of the questions. And if you answer yes to any, most, or even all of those questions, then it doesn't mean, oh my gosh, it doesn't mean for sure that you are not regulating, your body isn't regulating the glucose well. It could be a lot of these questions, a positive answer or an answer to the affirmative, a yes response could just mean that, it could mean any number of things. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh yes, for sure your glucose is not well regulated. So, but this is the importance of when you go to your primary care physician, you're getting, like a proper history taken, you're getting a in-depth history taken, you're getting a physical exam, and you're being sent for any necessary lab tests, okay, to then kind of hone down on what is the cause of, for example, being tired all the time. There could be a lot of reasons for that. Maybe you're overworked. There could be a lot of reasons for that. Maybe you don't sleep well. Maybe you're stressed, you know. So it could be any number of things. So don't like panic if you answered yes to any of those questions. All right. So the glucose revolution theory is that eating your food in a particular order makes weight loss effortless. So this is what makes this particular theory, premise, diet, if you will, different from other diets. Most other diets are based on like cutting out a particular food group or groups, but this diet says you don't have to cut out any of the foods you love, okay, even carbs, which is why I would say it's also different from the diabetes diet that we discussed about 2 weeks ago. Because, of course, you want to greatly reduce like your carbs and your sugars and things like that. And, of course, that's usually a premise on which people build to then say, okay, this is how you can lose weight. You just deprive, but it's a deprivation, and how easy is it to sustain depriving yourself? Okay, is that really having a good quality of life? Is that really a way to live? um you know I would say moderation is more of a key way to do it. Okay. And someone says here, thanks, that's a relief. It is, isn't it? Honest Herb Store says this is interesting. Thank you. I think I found this interesting as well. So I found it interesting, and I like that it's backed by the science. So yes, but you always have to take things with a grain of salt. And I would advise anybody, like, always read the information for yourself, and always read the information for yourself and then kind of make your own assessment. Okay, so I'll give you the name of the book again once we get to the end of the broadcast. Okay, so what Jesse recommends that you do then is to actually eat the carbs last. So we said that it's based on the glucose revolution. It's based on the person like eating their food in a particular order. So like if you were to say your meal consists of salad, you have soup, so it's kind of like how you'll be served like at a restaurant. Like you would go in stages, but they're saying eat like your greens, your vegetables, your fruits first. Okay, then you're gonna go in and have your protein, then you're gonna have your carbs last. Okay, and okay, I'll let y'all know what I think about it and why it might work in this particular order. Okay, so Jessica, the author, she admits that there is no benefit to extreme dieting, which I think we have gotten the point over the weeks and the months of us reviewing these different diets together. Diets don't work. They may work at achieving some weight loss for a period of time. And, Jessie talked about how many different diets she also tried. But some of these diets can actually be unhealthy and do more harm than good. So there's also like the statement that no diet is really the best diet. There really doesn't exist a best diet. The best diet is one that you can stick to, one that you can do consistently, not something that you can really only do for maybe a month or two and then you go back to like really like overdoing it the old way, or like really overdoing it on certain foods that you were depriving yourself of, because it's really the consistency. It's more about a lifestyle. And let's see, she said a couple of things that I really really loved. So she states that the diets that work are those that flatten the glucose, fructose, and insulin curves. And basically, if you flatten the glucose curve, you will flatten the fructose and the insulin curves as well, okay, because that's all pretty much related. And Jessica also says that we should be looking for sustainable lifestyles. I love that part. We should be looking for sustainable lifestyles, not diets. And there's space on all of our plates for a little bit of everything, including sugar. Okay? So the concept is try not to look at food as good or bad, but look at it as comparative to some other foods. So if you say, for instance, okay, oatmeal cookies, are oatmeal cookies good or bad? Y'all could let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do y'all think oatmeal cookies are good, or do you think that they're bad? Okay, I have a request in here. I'll let you know shortly when you can pop into the stream. Also, if anybody else has any questions, then make sure. Hey, Carissa, how are you? Thanks for popping in. I'm just asking persons right now for anybody that has an opinion on whether they think oatmeal cookies are good or bad, and then I'll kind of like let you know, kind of let you know where it falls. All right. So I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to give you a moment to answer. I know that sometimes there's a delay on Instagram. Okay. All right. So 10 minutes of moderate intensity exercise after a meal reduces the glucose spike of a meal. I thought that that was an important to know as well. Okay. Let's see. So Jessica actually got that information or premise from a research study, but she has also tried it herself and proven it to be true, as well as some of her clients. So I thought that that was nice, that they, also tried it out instead of, once again, just kind of taking in what it says in a research paper. Okay, because even research has limitations, right? Okay, so we've got some weighing in here. Someone says that they think oatmeal cookies are bad, but simply because they don't like them. Okay, just not your preference. That's okay. Carissa says that she thinks oatmeal cookies are bad. Kara says that she thinks they're better than other cookies, or at least she hopes so. So I think that's probably like a very thoughtful answer, I would say, that third response, because oatmeal cookies, we'll try not to necessarily classify, if we take off the whole category of good food, bad food, right? Look at it on a continuum. Oatmeal cookies are better than, okay, oatmeal cookies are not as good as, let's say, having an apple, right? Just like fresh fruit, or having a vegetable, or a handful of almonds or some type of nut, right? They're not as healthy as that. But isn't an oatmeal cookie healthier than a can of soda? Okay, so just kind of look at it on a continuum and look at it as making like the best choice. So when you have the opportunity to make your food choices, just think about, is there a healthier option that I could have? Like, even people that, eat at fast food places, I always tell them, there's healthier things on the menu. Like, you don't have to have the fries, you could have a baked potato. They'd be like, oh, sometimes it didn't really occur to them. They just get it with the fries. It's like, okay, you could get the chicken sandwich that's battered and fried, but you could also get the one that's grilled. Slightly better choice, right? So it's just about making like those better choices. So I loved how Jessica used some of my favorite terms: sustainable lifestyle. That's what it's really all about. It's not about dieting. Okay, so thanks for weighing in there on the oatmeal cookie debate. So yeah, it's just start to think of things more so on a continuum rather than like this is good and this is bad. I can't have this, da 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 da. So kind of think of it in that way, and also more so looking at what is the nutritional value of what you're putting into your body. Okay. All right, so my thoughts on the glucose revolution. To this point, I would say that it is very interesting. I think it's a very interesting theory. I like that it's backed by science or evidence based, with a science background that's kind of drilled into us. Just being evidence based, and everything that you do should be grounded in research and not just because of what you think. Um, or because of what somebody said. Like, could they back it up with evidence? Is there empirical evidence, peer reviewed evidence that this is actually true? Now, I will say that the whole thing about eating the food in this particular order, I feel like it could be also just that because you fill up on the healthier stuff first, you just don't have as much room when you're kind of already full by the time you get to the carbs. So maybe you just eat less of that. That is like a possibility. Similar to how people say, "Oh, drink a glass of water before your meals." Your belly is kind of full then of the water, and so you really just won't eat as much. Okay, one good comment here. I had carrots instead of popcorn today. So see that healthier choice is when you really check out what's the nutritional value, what's really in there. Like flip around that package. If anybody has any questions, if you want to, because that is my presentation, that's what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. If you have any questions, any further questions for me, you can. And if you want to ask them live, you can click request to join. I know somebody was asking to join. If they're still on, you can go ahead and click request to join. Also, if anybody wants to ask a question, but they don't feel like they're camera ready, then you could just pop your question either in the question queue or in the comments, and I will get it out of there. Hi, Dora Maria J. Thanks for popping in. Okay, we're just taking questions right now. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop it either in the comment section or question queue, or request to join if you want to ask it live. Okay, so let's see. Hey there. Oh, you're too kind. Hey, Dora. Let's see. So this comment, you had carrots instead of popcorn. I'm back on that because, okay, so I had this question earlier this week, like, oh, and this was a good question that somebody asked in the challenge. Like, am I allowed to have popcorn? So let's dissect that statement. This isn't about, like, we're not gonna make this about not in the challenge, and this is not the way I want to approach health coaching either. We're not gonna approach this as this is a list of food you can have and this is a list that you can't have. And this goes for people that don't have an extensive like medical history, like if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, then there's probably going to be some restrictions. Okay. However, for persons that are relatively healthy and don't have like comorbidities and things like that, lifestyle diseases at this point, you know, there's nothing that I'm going to say you're not allowed to have it. It's just how much of it. And, as you kind of go further along through your health and wellness journey, you're going to start making some choices for yourself. You're not going to need anybody to tell you can't have that, have this instead. You're going to get it. Okay. You're going to be looking at, well, popcorn. Not going to say you're not allowed to have it. But could you make a better choice? Yeah, sure you could. Right. So this person says that they had the carrots instead. Better choice. So again, we spoke briefly about nutritional value not so long ago, and we basically started to talk about, we kind of did a versus as well. We did a little versus battle, and we talked about, okay, what has more nutritional value? Like a plate of, we used, I think, kale as an example, and probably a plate of cookies. the kale has more nutritional value. So it's like you flip it around and it's like you flip the product around, you look at the back of it, and it's like, okay, what's in here? I flipped around a bag of popcorn after I got asked that question. I'm like, okay, so let's look at what's in here. You got a whole lot of sodium, like some iron and some calcium, because it was white cheddar popcorn. So the calcium was like more so from the cheese. So it's like, okay, but at a whole lot of calories, right? So it's kind of like, what did you really benefit or gain? Just calories and salt, mostly. But you have carrots instead. You're getting some other things. You're getting that beta carotene. You're getting something that's, you're getting vitamins, you're getting nutrients. So those are the kinds of choices that you will inevitably start making once you start making the decision to make your health a priority. You just really won't want to put a lot of that other stuff in there as often. You just won't, like, something is gonna like change, and you'll just gradually begin making the choices, and they just start one at a time. Okay, so you just make the first choice, and first good choice, first good decision, and you keep going. And sometimes, yeah, you fall off, but you just jump back on the horse. If you need help, you know where to find me. Okay, I do take one-on-one clients. We're doing the challenge right now, which is a way to work with me in a group setting. And if anybody here is in the challenge and wants to say what else they're enjoying about it, you can do so. I would love to hear, and I'm sure some of the other people here would like to know as well what it's like. Let's see. You already said that you like the planner. Okay. This challenge, I've run about 3 challenges so far, and each one has been different. I feel like this is like the best one so far, and I want them to keep getting better. So I hope that you will all also, like, for those that are in the challenge now, make sure you give me like, talk to me in the group about what are some of the things too that you feel like we should add to it. Okay. We're day 4. So everybody is like working through their tracking their food, and putting down those initial measurements. And so we're working at it and working through it so that people can see some positive results once they get to the end of this 21 days. Like I said, I do work with persons one-on-one for people that will need more personalized help and assistance, and help beyond perhaps 21 days, right? It takes, people say 21 days, but that's not quite accurate. The science says it's more like 66 days. So it's the first 21 days is to help you get started. Okay. 21 days to start to create a habit, but 66 days for it to actually stick. Okay, let's see. Kara says the challenge is helping me to be more mindful of what I'm eating. Very true. Of course, mindful eating is an excellent concept. It's one that I dig deeper into on my one-on-one coaching, as well as in the mini course that I will be putting out soon. Okay, let's see. So that's a very good and thoughtful comment. Let's see. Rain says that the activity sheet is phenomenal too. Oh, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for those comments. All right, I don't see any more questions coming through. Hi, Nisana 620. We're just getting ready to wrap up. Let's see. Oh, another comment, as well as taking some time out per day for my mental health. I put my phone down and went outside for an hour yesterday. That is fabulous. Okay, if I look weird because I'm smiling at y'all like that, I was just getting your comments. I was screenshotting your comments, okay? Sorry, these are the weird things that you have to do on social media. Okay, let's see. And another comment. Loves the exercise buffet. Yeah, so a different kind of buffet. A different kind of buffet. So yeah, so exercise buffet instead of a food buffet. Okay. I thought that was like kind of cute. All right, y'all. So I think that we are going to wrap right there. That's pretty much some of the upcoming things that we have going on right now. Of course, we still have concierge physiotherapy service available for anyone that needs home care, you need therapy, but you or maybe a loved one cannot get out to come into the clinic. Okay. So y'all, so just DM me if anybody needs home care service, concierge PT service, or if you want to find out more about my health coaching service for the one-on-one, DM me the word call, CALL, and I will be sure to respond to you to give you further details after you told me about what your needs are. Okay, one more comment here. Yes, that helps take the guesswork out of what some options are. Yes, so it'll help you out. So at least you can kind of have an idea of, hey, this is what I could do today. Because in the challenge, we are encouraging everybody to get in a half an hour of exercise every day. Okay. So, and I'm gonna be on the participants of the challenge. So that's the accountability part. Checking in to see if you're getting your different requirements done. Okay. All right, so there are no further questions or comments at this time. Then I am getting ready to sign off. This is Dr. Felicia here, making the world healthier, one woman at a time. I will see you all next week, I hope, right back here on these same three outlets: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll be having a special guest next week, Crystal Woodside, and she is a foot care specialist. Okay, she's several things. She wears many hats. She is a certified nail tech specializing in foot care. She's also a massage therapist. So if you want to find out more about Crystal and what she does, it's like this is almost like the diabetes section. I feel like we've been talking about diabetes quite a bit. But this will be another little diabetes topic. Okay, so feel free to join us next week. Also, don't be afraid to bring a friend along. All right, y'all. So I am out of here. Thank you for your time and attention this evening. As always, hanging out with me. See y'all next week. God spares.